Hi all, welcome back to my channel, My Tech Zone. Today we're going to learn about string manipulation techniques as part of Python series part 5. So let's start with it. I'm going to share my screen. As usual, we are going to use replit.com in order to perform our activities today. So I'm going to create a new replit and let's name it as Python series part 5. It's being created almost. Yes, it's there. So as we all know, the topic is string manipulation. Now, if anybody are not sure that why am I using hashtag, this is like a comment. And if you want to write anything for your own understanding, we have something called comments in Python. So hashtag is used for single line comment. Now, in string manipulation, we are going to know how many different ways we can actually manipulate the strings. As we all know, one of our data types is string, where we can store words or sentences, basically anything that is stored in quotations. It could be even a number in quotations, it is still considered as string. So let's take a string. Let me call it string number 1. And let me name it, let's store some value in it. It's more like, let's take an example of I love Python. Or let's say I'm learning Python. Now this one little sentence, I'm learning Python, how can we manipulate in multiple ways? That's possible. Let's going to see that. So now the first technique that we have got is called upper. So any guesses what do you think is upper going to do? I think most of you must have guessed it already. Upper is more like uppercase. So what happens is our string is going to be converted into uppercase. So let's see how can we convert that. String 1 dot upper. Always remember, any type of functions you're trying to use from Python, you should always end it with the extra brackets. If you do not do that, you will end up getting an error because upper is more like a built-in function and it will only get activated when you put that extra brackets. Just like our print, we always put extra brackets after print, as you have seen it already. The same thing applies here. So string 1 dot upper. Now, if I print my string 1, what do you guys think? Is it going to be converted into uppercase? Let's check. No, you could see that it was not converted into uppercase. And I'm pretty sure most of you must be wondering why. Because the actual string can never be changed. You can only manipulate it using a different variables. So now let's say string 1 equal. Will this work? Let's check. Yes, this worked because I told them to update it. So until or unless you ask them to update your actual string, the original string will not change. So here I have converted my original string into uppercase and that's how I got it here. If you don't feel like I don't want to convert or I don't want to make any changes into my original string, I can use another variable. Let's call it as string 2 and let's try to print string 2 and run the code. And you can see that my string is converted into uppercase, right? So now let's proceed with the second model, which is lower. So whoever understood upper, I think you must have already predicted what is lower. Yes, your guess was right. It's just converting your string into lowercase. As usual, I'm going to follow the same format again. And let's print our string 2. There we go. We have got it into lowercase as well. So what else is possible? There is a third method whose name is called as swap case. And the name itself resembles that we're going to swap the cases. So uppercase will become lowercase and lowercase would become uppercase. So let's do the same thing again. And let's try to print our string 2. And now you guys could see that except I, everything actually turned into uppercase because in my original string, only I was capital and rest all was small letters. But when I'm trying to apply swap case to my original string, you could see that my capital letters, which is only I, turned into lowercase and rest all of the letters has become capital case. And let's learn two more methods today, which is the important ones. Suppose if you want to find the length of the string, how would you do it? So what we do is, I'm pretty sure most of you must be thinking something like this. Let's take a variable called length. And because we were doing string one dot, and then we used to do the method, right? But for length, the format would little bit change. So there is a keyword called len, which is a function, of course, built-in function. Now this len built-in function is going to help me to find the length. I just have to tell my Python for what I'm trying to find the length. So you know that my string is stored in string 1. So yes, I'm going to apply string 1. So now when I'm trying to print the length, you can see that we would be getting one number. Yes, it's 20. And if you count it properly, I'm pretty sure you can see that there are only 17 letters. But if you're wondering how we got 20, it is including the spaces. Imagine if somebody asks you that I want a string and I want the length of the string without the spaces. What would you do? That's when you would need this method called count. So what will count do? Count will help you in finding out how many number of times one particular character is being repeated. So let's say I want to know how many times maybe letter A is being repeated. So let's take a variable A count. So you just have to let them know from which variable you're counting. So from string 1, I'm trying to find the count of what? Of A. So let's try to print A count. Ta-da! You could see that there are only two A's. As you can clearly see, there is one A here and there is one A here and there is no more A's available. Now, using these two concepts, let's try one problem. The problem is how to know, basically finding the length without counting the spaces. How can we do that? Finding the length of string without counting spaces. So here what we can do is, let's take, first of all, we can use the length variable. We already have the length that is stored here. I'm going to use the same, formula here. And then I know how to count A. When I know how to count letter A, don't you think it is very easy to count the space? So let's say space count. All you have to do is just don't do anything. Just leave a space. When you do this, look at this. When I'm trying to find the space count, so as per our expectations, there are total 3 spaces. I'll show it again. So you can see there are 1, 2, and 3 spaces. Let's run the code. So the space count is supposed to be 3. So now I want my length without spaces. All I have to do is just subtract space count from the length. And then that's how we end up getting 70. There we go. So like this, we have more methods that's upcoming. So these are only 5 methods I'm explaining in this part 1 of string manipulations. We have more methods such as starts with, ends with, and few more which I'll be covering up in the next module. So, and in our channel, we are going to learn more unique combinations of, manipulations as well as the upcoming concepts. So please subscribe to the channel and do like, share, and I'll be, connecting with you for the next video soon. Thank you. Thanks for watching.